This is me, Spoon Beast.
What's good and well, Smash Brothers fans? It's that time of the week again where I give to you a prediction, character review, or anything speculation regarding Super Smash Bros. 4. This week, it's a bit of a little bit of a mix-up. It's a complication of two different request videos. Basically, it's kind of like a spin-off of the likely third-party characters, but it's looking more at different Capcom representatives. This video actually came about because I did some research on these characters for you lovely subscribers, and it shows that they're both owned by Capcom. Now, I have this to thank because to the following subscribers, thanking Mr. Me 2010 2VR. He asked me what I thought of Amaterasu being in Super Smash Bros. 4. And on the flip side, another Capcom character asked by Felicia Fan 444 asking my thoughts of Shantae in Super Smash Bros. 4. To my surprise, both of these characters are owned by Capcom. So I thought, brilliant, what a way to continue my weekly character reviews. Let's do 2 in 1 and talk about more Capcom reps. Everybody's heard my talks on Mega Man. I've already mentioned him enough, dating all the way back to almost 2 years ago. I brought up Beautiful Joe and some Street Fighter rep who you can name, Ryu or whoever else, 2 weeks ago. Now, this week I'm looking at two very different characters. Let's focus first on the man Mr. Me 2010 2VR brought up, which is Amaterasu. Amaterasu is basically a white wolf and is actually like a goddess of the sun. She appeared in the Okami game series for the first time. That game series came out in 2006, which that game series is basically from what I read, it was just a regular action adventure game like you'd play for Zelda, all that, but it was done very differently. It was done very artistically, very creatively, and it came out for the Wii and the PlayStation 2 and all that. So she was the main, one of the main characters of that franchise, of the Okami franchise. There, I believe, have been, I'm trying to remember here exactly how many, but I don't know if there's been more than one game or just the standalone. I think it's just the standalone, but I could be wrong. But she was one of the main characters of that game. It was pretty popular, did pretty well. As that came out for PlayStation 2, Wii, the big time consoles that were out at the time. And she would, being having the powers of the sun, she could play off very, very well. Like people have brought this up before, and I don't think it's a bad idea either. But I'm going to compare it. It'd be like being able to play as Midna, and the way you'd be able to play as Midna is she would ride around Wolf Link, and you would use your attacks through Wolf Link, like the lunges, the clawing, all this, that, and the other. But you could probably use some of Midna's magic. But what kind of separates these two is that, those powers come from Midna, not Wolf Link, whereas Amaterasu actually, she's like a goddess of the sun. She can use, the powers of heat and fire from within her and just use those as, they'd probably be simple B attacks, clawing and regular smashes, headbutts, whipping against your opponent, all basically biting too, are all regular smash attacks, and you could use her magic, the powers of the sun, as like B attack, so to speak. And it would be really interesting, like having a character be on all fours. Like we've done that, but we never really had like an actual dog. Like we've had Ivysaur, who kind of climbs on all fours. We've had Yoshi, not really. I mean, he's got both his feet down and this, that, and the other. But you could easily do it if you put some effort to it. I really thought the package of Wolf Link and Midna would have been, some Twilight Princess tie-ins for Brawl. They never really came to be. But I would say go for it. But is Okami really that big of a game franchise to be the Capcom rep? I would say that the chances are pretty decent. I mean, Amaterasu herself actually starred in Marvel vs. Capcom a few times in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Fate of Two Worlds and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom, which, for those of you who've been living under a rock, those are some pretty popular fighting games done by Capcom that feature Marvel superheroes as well as their actual gaming all stars, if you will. So she's been in fighting games before. It'd be cool to see her in some again, for sure. But over some bigger powerhouses, I would say she got a better shot than Mega Man because Mega Man, in my opinion, doesn't really have the best shot in the world, even if he's the most requested character in Smash Brothers that hasn't made an appearance yet. Because we can't count Sonic anymore because he made it to Brawl. But yeah, I would say she has a better shot than him. I could see any big Capcom star making it over him, unless they do the right thing. But as far as like being on a level of Beautiful Joe, maybe somebody from Street Fighter, I don't know about that. But as a standalone protagonist, I would say Amaterasu has a pretty decent shot. Is it the most likely? No, but I would still give her a good chance of being the actual Capcom rep. Not saying it's going to happen, but I'm giving her a fair shot. Now let's take a look over at Shantae, who was the star, to my surprise, of a series of Game Boy games that eventually made it to the DS and the newer game that's actually going to be coming out sometime this year for I believe what's the new Shantae and the Pirate's Curse coming out for the 3DS. So she made a few different appearances on little Nintendo consoles, just the Nintendo handhelds actually. And she's got the purple hair. She kind of looks like a little bit of a gypsy, if I were to say. So she is basically a half genie. So if you kind of base it around that, you can actually use some of her pets. She's got various creatures you can transform into. You can transform into a monkey, an elephant, a spider, a harpy. Being the use of different magical dances. As I said, she's a gypsy because she looks like a gypsy, but she's half genie. So you could use that. Maybe your different forms could use different attacks, like monkey. Not make it like too Diddy like, but throw bananas. Punch people, pull hair, whatever. An elephant is like an on all fours powerhouse. You can lunge at people. Spider, as long as you're a giant spider, I guess. But if you turn into a little one, that'd be useless. But I'm sure you turn into a giant spider. You can use venom or whatever, spit things at people. And as for being a harpy, that's you turn into like you get a whole body of a bird, and then it's just your head, and then you just attack people with your claws and that. If they did that, based on her transformations, kind of like Pokemon Trainer, but not entirely, I think that could work out. Use some of her other magic as as regular attacks too. I guess you could use them as B attacks. Or maybe down B like Pokemon Trainer. I don't want to copy him too much. Could switch between your forms. Regular Shantae, monkey form, elephant form, spider form, harpy form. But maybe you can only use like the special magic when you're outside of a transformation form. And then you could use projectiles or whatever the have you. Basically for the actual game, it's a platforming game. Most of the fun handheld Nintendo games are. And again, she's owned by Capcom. This, of course, again, I'm going to thank Felicia Fan 444 for bringing this up. Or else I would have had no idea that this franchise even existed, or that such a cool character could have come about from it. So she first made her debut over 10 years ago. The first Shantae game came out for the Game Boy Color, if you can believe that, on June 2nd, 2002. And her newest game is going to be coming out for the 3DS sometime this year, so they're definitely going to be doing something with her this year. As far as being the Capcom rep, though, it's been a while since she's had a really notable game. That's the thing. Is that I would really like to see somebody this creative get the spot, but as far as for a likely Capcom representative, I don't. She's pretty obscure, and that's I'm not saying that is a bad thing. Sometimes the most obscure characters, like a Mr. Game & Watch, or who's else is a really good example of being pretty obscure. Even the ice climbers, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They turn out to have really, really cool movesets and they play really well. Uh, so some of the most obscure characters that just from the most different older. This isn't really old. This is the last decade. The 2000s, early 2000s, but still. This game is newer than Melee. Her first game is newer than Melee anyway. So it wouldn't be a bad decision. It's not. It's not likely at all. Amaterasu definitely has a way better chance of getting in Smash Brothers. But Shantae definitely, with just how she can transform and use magic, and that she's a half genie. I've never even heard of that. You usually a genie or you're not. That to me speaks like it has a lot of potential for a move set. Just would be an awesome fit for Smash Brothers. Both of them are. Both of them have their strengths. Both of them do have their weaknesses. They're way bigger. Well, in Shantae, maybe not so much Amaterasu, but even for Amaterasu, there have been many other big time Capcom stars whose games have come out big time more than once. That are still kind of name value in like the gaming world. So you got to keep that into perspective. It's who's current and who's recent. Sure, Shantae's having another game come out, but look how long it's been since she's had a pretty big standalone game. Amaterasu, Okami came out 7 years ago now. Not saying Mega Man's going to get in. Not saying Beautiful Joe's going to get in. Not saying anybody from Street Fighter is going to get into this game. I'm not even saying these two are. But Capcom seems like a likely party to get a representative that's not Namco. Or, Sega having Sonic come back. So this is some case for point. What did you think of this video? Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, a thumbs down if you absolutely fucking hated it. Give your opinions on the two characters below, or if you don't know anything about them, go and research them because they're a whole boatload of fun to learn about. If you'd like to see me continue doing these videos after E3, as I said at the beginning of this video, drop a comment. Like me on Twitter at SpoodBeast. Visit the SpoodBeast Facebook page, both of which my Twitter and Facebook will be in the description below. And of course, visit fanboysanonymous.com for everything geek. I'm SpoodBeast, and I am out, everybody. See you next week.